Good afternoon, everybody, on this beautiful Friday afternoon. It's been so long since we've seen the sun here in Indiana that it kind of makes you wonder if the sun's ever going to come out. And of course, we know this weather isn't natural. If you've been paying attention or you have some age on you, you know this weather is definitely man made. Geoengineering, cloud seeding, chemtrails, whatever you want to call it, it's definitely man made. But that's a subject for another time. I wanted to talk to you because I know so many have been paying attention to what's going on in the Middle East with these oil tankers and this escalation with Iran. But we just don't know because our news stories, because they are either left or right. No one's in the middle and worth telling the truth about things. So we don't really know what the truth is on some things. So let me shed some light on what this ministry knows. We can kind of go there and then we'll just watch things. I really hate to give you more information than what I know, or as some people would call it, intelligent guesses. I find that intelligent guesses sometimes have been more wrong than they do right. So the first of it is we have escalations with Iran with a bunch of different things going on with the trade and the oil prices and things like that because of the sanctions the United States has put on Iran. Nothing wrong with the sanctions about putting on Iran. They've been on there before, and they were only given up under the Obama administration. And we know where that got us, where he paid them billions of dollars to help them go ahead and enrich their uranium to get us to where that we are now weeks away, as Israel told us in his administration we would be if that continued. And now they're going to enrich beyond the limits. Okay, well, all said and done, we know that that's going to happen anyway. The scriptures tell us the war is coming with Iran. It just doesn't always tell us the situation or the scenario in which this is going to happen. So let me just tell you that now we've got these oil tankers. What the news tends to tell you is there are 6 oil tankers, but they're not American. They're out of our allies. A couple of them are. Some could be called frenemies because they're like Saudi Arabia, not really, not an enemy, not an ally, but so they're a frenemy. Then there's one with China, and then there's a Japanese. Okay, so the United States is really good at organizing with her frenemies as well as her friends to do this. By the way, China is an ally of Iran, so the United States was organizing this so they can simply attack Iran. Don't you think the Chinese would be blowing the whistle, or do you think they'd really even work with us? Because that possibly would draw them into a war with the United States. Don't you think they'd kind of scream and holler, about that a little bit somewhere, that we would pick up this information? That it's a planned attack. The United States is going to attack this and do this kind of damage here and there. And if it was Israel doing it, don't you think that that would be also splittered out the news somewhere from Iran or her allies or something? So we've got a couple things going on right here that we need to really take a look at. Either the United States is, one, good at what I just said, or two, this really is an attack on our allies and our frenemies. By the way, if this isn't true, or is true rather, Iran just attacked one of their own allies' ships, which I find that kind of interesting because the Chinese have been slowly kind of backing out to kind of make things normal with the United States. Again, though, there's no treaty with China, only through trade. There's no allied obligations there. We don't defend each other. We would always be on polar opposites at this point, and we know scripturally that's going to remain that way as long as the United States survives, and we know scripturally that's unlikely to happen. But we need to look at oil prices are starting to go up because they're getting a bite in Iran. And one other key factor we need to look at is Israel is without a government. So if a strike would come right now, Israel would be out without a government, and it may be very difficult for them to defend themselves. So it probably would have to come in September after Israel gets everything together and forms their official government in October, right about the 31st. If you want to hold on to that date, I have more information that we'll do in a different video that you might find October 31st. Very interesting on the way some things are coming together in a satanic trinity right there. But anyway, to get back to what we're talking about with this. So Trump then last night, went on that they made a terrible mistake and he signed the order and got Congress to go with him. And so we were about ready to strike. The Pentagon was ready to do their thing. We're about ready to strike. And then the 12th hour, if you will, we don't strike. Now, Iran may look at this as some weakness. Not told to us in the public for some reason, probably to make Donald Trump look bad, because this may make him look incompetent. Because remember, these same news channels that are trying to make Trump look bad and everything, they were friends to Obama. But when it came to Iran, they weren't always very nice to him, and they made Obama look incompetent. Well, Obama's strategies and his policies were incompetent when it came to Israel. But the thing that we need to understand is Obama was trying to strengthen his allies in faith, not the United States allies. So there is a big, big difference there. But Donald Trump actually gave Iran an opportunity just before the strike was to happen to deny that they had attacked the oil tankers, deny that they had shot down the drone. And now Iran sends back basically videos screaming, Allah Akbar, look what we did to the great Satan. Well, guys, don't you just realize that that basically just told us that you did it? Because you didn't even take advantage of the opportunity to lie. You didn't take advantage of the opportunity to deny and say, well, he didn't do it. Somebody else must have done it. So here we are in a dilemma now where there is going to have to be something happen or Donald Trump will look weak. We're going to have to worry about Israel at this point. So I would imagine things that will happen would be very calculated. And we may not see a military strike. However, keep that in mind. There still may be a limited military strike that the United States gets okayed with Israel so that Israel is aware. Because Israel is preparing right now and has been for the last 3 days for a war on two fronts or multiple fronts. So we have to be aware of that they are aware of it. But it also makes things difficult without them having a government to do operations. You would understand if the United States didn't have a government, how difficult it would make it for the United States. Because right now we have a government, and it's so difficult for us to do anything that you kind of wonder how we even know how our government knows how to go to the bathroom at this point. So, not defending anyone. So don't say Eric's being political about this, political about that. I'm just talking about the basic shape of our government and how it's going. It just is in really bad shape. However, we do understand that Iran did make the attacks on the tankers. They did drop the drone out of the sky. It was an international area, and that has actually been confirmed by the Europeans, who actually don't have as much in this as you think they do. But just remember, a war in Iran will probably destroy the world economy. So you need to make sure you understand that this is something they're trying to do. I'm just not so sure they're ready to do it, and probably not until we get closer to 2020, at least towards Christmas, where America would have more difficulties getting through the winter because we are so dependent on things. So just keep in mind, this was probably very real. Iran did not take advantage of the opportunity to say they didn't do it. In fact, they sent a video to the White House in the opposite saying, look what we did to the great Satan. We shot them down. We hurt them. We did something stupid. But, here we go. So keep that in mind and keep the nation in your prayers. Because this nation is at the crossroads. And the bad thing of it is the crossroads here, once we cross it, there's probably no returning. There's probably no way to say, ooh, we made a mistake. And this time there's probably no way to backpedal. because what the crossroads is to turn into a socialistic state, which so much of this generation wants, that is below 40, without realizing it, that's what they're wanting. That's definitely what the left wants, and that's definitely where the Democrats are trying to go, because they're trying to give away the House at this point. And it's only the 50 or the 40 and above that are paying for it at this point, for the most part. So there are some real bad things coming. However, I believe the rapture of the church is not far, and I've said that for a long time, so that's nothing new for anybody here that watches the channel, who pays attention to the Facebook channels. So let's just keep the nation in prayer and pray that Donald Trump does the right thing for our nation, does the right thing to save face with the nations, because he is a crossroads there too. If he doesn't do the right thing, he'll look weak. Now, right now, he should look very strong in China's eyes, and the American public should understand that this is a move of strength, not a move of weakness by Donald Trump, because he has the ability to strike Iran and strike Iran very hard. Okay? Whether it's a smart thing to do or not, I don't know. That's not my position to make that guess. It's above my pay grade. What I can tell you, though, whatever he does will affect the United States and the world scale at large, and oil prices, and possibly our freedoms and the Middle East freedoms at this point, what freedoms they have. So I don't get an email on that one. But we just have to understand this is in the Lord's hands, and we'll watch what happens. But at this point, Donald Trump is working from a position of strength because he gave them the opportunity to deny it, and they did not. At the last minute, he called off the strike and gave them the opportunity to deny it, and they did not. They celebrated it. So don't be surprised if a military action and more sanctions do come. God bless you all. I'll see you later, and have an awesome day.